Hardcore and metalcore are genres that most of the time can feel really stuck up and pretentious. There's a serious lack of fun and style in the genre. Now, of course, there are exceptions to that, like bands like Every Time I Die, or even Protest the Hero in the more metalcore side of things, that seem to be writing songs because they actually like to and they actually enjoy it and want to have kind of fun with things and not just trying to fit a certain mold. A lot of bands really kind of blend together because they just seem fine writing the same guitar riffs as each other, the same drum beats, the same song structures, and they just all really kind of blend together, and it gets boring and stale over a lot of times. And this is where we actually get New England band Partywolfe, who are set to kind of change things up a little bit. Everything you need to know about this band is really conveyed through the title, their name alone. They're definitely a hardcore band, but yet they don't really take themselves way too seriously like a lot of these other bands do, and they're trying to bring a little bit of flair into the whole scene here. And that's where we get their brand new album called Homeless Romantic. Homeless Romantic is really just party music for hardcore kids. Right off the bat, you have the opening track, What a Time to Be Alive. Band will have you just tapping your toes or really just kind of want to mosh around your room if you're listening to it alone. That guitar riff that just kicks things off is really rock and roll just turned up to 11. It's just so much fun on that entire track. I really love it. The title track on here, Homeless Romantic, features just frantic drumming that's kind of all over the kit and a solid guitar riff again, and just these layered clean and unclean vocals that just work so well together, and they're going to have you really kind of chanting along throughout it. Now, despite lyrics that actually kind of deal with some pretty grim and dark subject matter, such as losing people to drug use and to almost like cult-like behavior, things like that, and kind of the world not getting along, too many different viewpoints and things, and people just fighting each other over just really stupid shit. There's still this kind of brevity to it. There's still this kind of sense of joviality. You never really get the sense, you never feel dragged down. It never really feels like a bummer. There's just this sense of kind of hope and optimism throughout the entire album overall. You have these really heavy breakdowns that kind of complement everything. The guitar riffs have a general upbeat party feel. Like I said, they feel like really kind of groovy overall, which is something I definitely like. But at the same time, again, the band does know how to be serious when it needs to be. Some of the lyrics on here do get pretty dark, and it's a nice kind of juxtaposition between the music, which is kind of have you upbeat and dancing, and the lyrical content, which, again, never really feels like a downer, but still gets into pretty dark, kind of dark territory overall. And again, at least they can be serious when they need to. They don't kind of use their the fun to just kind of mask everything. And you get songs like the final track called Hypocritic, which has the same sense of style musically and instrumentally as the other songs on this album, but it's definitely has a more serious tone to it overall. And it feels more like a straightforward hardcore song. It actually reminds me a lot of something from Census Fail's album, Still Searching, but it's kind of a nice change of pace overall from the other tracks on that album, and I think it's a nice way to close everything out. Partywolfe is what you get when you kind of strip away all the pretentiousness of the hardcore scene and just kind of lighten up a bit. Homeless Romantic is just full of heavy songs for hardcore kids who just like to have fun and like to party and not just take things way too seriously. And that said, they never really use their humor or sarcasm to drive their sound home, and they even do tackle some pretty heavy issues overall on here. And even though oftentimes the lyrics can seem at odds with the style of music that they're going with, it actually works, and it's really executed to perfection by these guys. Homeless Romantic is a very welcome shot of caffeine in a very sleepy scene.